if we got the first count over and seen what the position after the first count, then it might give an indication of who would be. I really don't know. You had last night on the tally, you had Noel McBride in the last seat. Now I think things have changed a lot in that with the like David Fisher going out, or with David's second votes, Siobhan McLaughlin that I was telling that, Galligan's votes, Jimmy Kavanagh seemed to be getting the majority of those votes, so that's going to lift, and Jimmy was quite close to Noel McBride, so I think it'll be probably Jimmy Kavanagh.
I would say Jimmy Kavanagh too. And Shields will be very close too now.
Yes.
The battle with Jimmy Kavanagh and Shields.
After the tally, like Shields is in 9th place, and Jimmy Kavanagh was in 11th place. So.
And Donald Collins in that mix as well.
Yes.
I haven't seen now how his votes was going. No, I don't know how.
He wouldn't. There's multi-local candidates going out. So they would help.
So mostly town candidates
going out.
That would help.
Yes, and that's going to help the town.
I think it's hard to know now, but it'll be a long time. Well, tomorrow for that.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Late night.
Now, Billy, it's your first time running. What did you think of your campaign?
I thought we fought a good fight. Okay, we at least introduced ourselves on the scene, and my focus was basically to tackle issues that the minority ethnic face within our county, and especially the water tax, which I really oppose, because coming from a background, of that nature from Africa, I thought, look, it rains every day. I've been here 10 years. It rains every day. There must be other solutions to this problem. So saying that, I fought for what I believe in, and People Before Profit was one party that I thought addressed what I wanted to address. So yeah.
So you were happy enough that you went in with People Before Profit instead of going on your own bat?
Look, I couldn't have gone independent because it was my first time. Okay, I needed to go with a party, and look, I don't want to put Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil or any of those parties down, but I just felt they didn't address what I believed in, and that's the reason why I went with People Before Profit, because they addressed what I believe in anyway and what I wanted to address. Not just my people, but the Irish people, because this is now my home. This is my home, 10 years. So having said that, I thought, we're all in this together. So yeah, that's the reason why.
Do you feel that the non-nationals came out and voted, or do you feel they kind of stayed at home a bit?
They voted. I know they voted because on my canvassing trails, I made sure that I got registration of voter forms, and I know they voted. Politics is a dirty game. There was a lot of conniving and dirty politics involved, and so if they
who would you think the conniving and dirty politics is coming from?
No, I would just like to congratulate them, but saying that that happened, I'll be a witness of all those things, and that's the reason why we didn't do as much. Sometimes when you buy people off with little things, people can just change that just like that. So we fought a good battle.
You said this is your first step in the ladder. Will we see Billy Banda in politics again?
Oh yes. Look, as I said, I'm an activist. I'm not a politician. Okay, and I'm an activist that believes in the people. Okay, not just the minority ethnic, but the people of Ireland. Okay, especially Donegal, because this is my home, and this is just the beginning. You still see me in the next elections, and I promise you, we'll be better prepared, and we'll see where it goes.
Thank you very much, Billy.
Thank you very much.
Good man. Cheers. You too, man. Liam, looks like you're topping the poll here. You really got the machine out behind you this time.
Yes. After tally figures is to go by, I'm going to top the poll, and with 22 candidates in the field, and to top the poll and look like we're going to reach the quota, it's a great achievement. And as you say, we've got the team out behind us, a crowd of very loyal supporters, and I have to thank them all for that.
up to maybe as high as 165 maybe in some boxes.
Yeah, well, so this is my third election now, and in Fana direction I've got over 100 votes in most boxes, and they've stood by me all along, and thankfully it's held out again.
What challenges do you see ahead now going into this council?
Well, it's all new to a lot of us. We still don't even know what extra powers we're supposed to be getting, which I think is totally wrong. We should have been aware of that before the election started. But there's a lot of I know I wouldn't say new challenges out there. There's still a lot of challenges out there as far as electors concerned. They're not happy with what's going on, and I'm quite sure that everybody sees the message that they have sent back to the government, that they're not happy with the way the way they're performing.
So you see possible problems with the changeover?
I don't know what problems there is, you see, because we don't know what new powers we're getting with these new municipal authorities until we find out what they are, and I think we won't know until the beginning of June. It's very hard to know what kind of transition there's going to be from one to the other.
So it's a lack of information in the government?
Exactly. Complete lack of information of what's going on. And I think it's totally wrong for both the sitting councillors and for new candidates coming on, not knowing exactly what they're going to be at or what new powers they're going to have. But I'm quite sure if the past and go by this last number of years, there'll be very limited powers will be given now.
Thank you very much, Liam. Congratulations again. Cheers. Good man. Lovely.
Electorate 31,406. Total poll 19,064. Invalid ballot papers 163. Valid poll 18,901. The number of seats to be filled is 10, so the quota is 1,719. The following is the results of count 1. Banda 183, Blake 648, Glenny 1,763, Boyle 413, Brogan 1,698, Crossan 428, Cullen 883, Cutcliffe 218, Fisher 415, Galligan 377, Kavanagh 896, McBride 1,138, sorry, that was McBride Donegal 1,138, McBride Knoll 828, McClafferty 607, McDade 1,314, McGarvey 1,338, McLaughlin 338, McMonigal 1,213, O'Donnell 1,692, Quinn 1,076, Shields 955, Watson 480. As the votes of Liam Glenny have exceeded the quota, I deem him to be elected. We will now proceed to distribute Liam Glenny's surplus of 44 votes, as it exceeds the difference between the two lowest remaining candidates. Thank you.
Your first time out here, you've got a hell of a vote.
Have indeed, Paddy. We're delighted with the vote for the first time running to be getting over the 1,600, almost 1,700 first preferences to date in the tallies. It's an exceptional first preference vote for the first time, as you said, you know.
What challenges do you see ahead now going into the council?
Well, you can see a lot of challenges, I suppose, nationally, but in terms of the local level, I think that local elections is about local issues, and we need to address local issues on the ground here that's affecting communities as a whole. But I think the big topic that we're hearing at the doorstep is in terms of water charges and stuff like that, and about the discontent of the public towards it at the moment, you know.
Did you have much disengagement in the doors, or did you have good reaction?
Well, the fact that you're independent and you weren't affiliated to any political party and you had no baggage with you, we were getting engaged with every door. There was only maybe very, very few you could count in one hand, maybe the people that were just completely disillusioned and didn't want to engage at all, but there were few and far between. And the response that we got at the door, and when we got the opportunity to engage with the constituents, I can tell you that we were getting a very, very good response, and it's showing today on my vote.
You have a bit of a party tonight?
Definitely we'll have a party tonight. We're just getting everything lined up there for the Lagoon interment tonight, so hopefully if we're out of here at 8 or 9 o'clock, we'll head on back to the Lagoon and paint the town red for a day or two, you know.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you, Paddy. Good man.
Good man.
Thank
Cheers.
you, sir. Lovely.
As the votes of John O'Donnell exceed the quota, I deem him to be elected.
Out here today, McDade and Brogan and McDade helping one another out again. You're happy with the result?
I'm delighted. I'm absolutely honoured and privileged. We suppose had a strategy, and we adopted the strategy, and we had a plan, and we stayed with the plan, and we got the results. It's been a great election, a great result. I'm very proud of my own personal campaign, very proud of the loyal team that has backed me in this campaign, and it was the most difficult election probably that I've ever fought. If you think back to 5 years ago, I would have been in the privileged position that all of James Pat's people was on my team, and all of John O'Donnell's team was on my team, and his family and extended family. And this occasion, that wasn't the case, and for me to do so well and taking the risks that I've taken, I'm personally very, very satisfied. And I want to pay tribute to all the team because it was a team game. And for James Pat to be elected, the way we did, I mean, we took 3 out of the first 4 seats, and John O'Donnell took the other seat, who would be of the Fianna Fáil gene pool. So I think all round it's a very good day for Fianna Fáil.
Challenges ahead?
There's no doubt there are going to be many challenges ahead, and once we go into the new council in Lifford, I suppose the abolition of the town council is the biggest challenge, and how we maintain the same level of services in Letterkenny. But I give a commitment during the election that I'd be the strong voice for Letterkenny, so I intend to be very vocal for Letterkenny and for a lot of the projects that we've established.
Congratulations again, Kieran.
All right, thanks, Paddy. Cheers. Good man. Good man.
As the votes of Kieran Brogan have exceeded the quota, I deem him to be elected. I will now proceed to exclude the lowest candidate and distribute his votes, which is Christopher Joseph McGilligan's 419 votes. Kieran Logan has a surplus of 11 votes, but the distribution of that wouldn't materially affect the progress of the count at this point. So we'll proceed with to exclude and distribute Christopher Joseph Gallagher's 419 votes. Thank you.
Looks like you're coming in here, you're going to break the quota. Your first time running, you must be elated.
I'm delighted, Paddy. It's just, we're absolutely thrilled and overwhelmed ourselves. We've exceeded all expectations. In fairness, the work, what can be said is the hard work has paid off, and we're just over the moon.
Some of the boxes there, you had some of the highest numbers. Were you surprised at this?
Not surprised. The effort we put in, I think we got the reward for the effort we put in. We had people come out canvassing with us. I was going around houses canvassing, and people are coming out to the doors and saying, James, can I do anything for you for helping your campaign? Next thing they're out canvassing, and this was very encouraging the whole way through, and people saying it's great to see a young face, a young youth, a bit of youth getting involved, and I think it's just what politics needs at the moment.
No doubt Glenn Sully really came out and supported you.
Backyard definitely. Hats off to them. They supported me from the very last, gave me a great lift coming into Letterkenny, and throughout the area I pulled votes out of every area, and I'm just thrilled and overwhelmed with it.
What do you see going forward now, the challenges ahead?
Well, it's just people are going out canvassing at the doors and they're saying to people, we give this young fella a chance. Now I've gotten this chance now, and it's up to me now to do the work. For me to get elected in 5 years' time, it will start now on Monday, and it starts from here on, and it's going to be an opportunity when I take with both hands and do my very best to represent the electorate.
Fair play to you, James Pat.
Thanks very much, Paddy.
Thank you.
Good on you.
As the votes of James Pat McDade exceed the quota, I deem him to be elected. Of that surplus wouldn't materially affect the progress of the count between it couldn't elect a continuing candidate, or it couldn't save the lowest candidate from exclusion. So we will now proceed to exclude the lowest candidate and distribute his votes, which is Pascal Blake's 957 votes. Thank you.
You had some of the highest numbers, Ian, but especially Ramelton came out and supported you.
Yes, well, you see, everyone who stands expects that their local community will support them, number one. But number two, not only that, when you do stand, you recognise the importance of the whole electoral area and all the different needs and the different respective towns and villages and so on that's under threat at the moment, more seriously than ever before, in my opinion. And I don't need to express, we'll say, only what I hold the view about the need for jobs. It's easy to talk about them, but funding is necessary in this county to provide more activities, specifically even from local government and other areas. To me, I think that's very, very important. And everybody can talk about, we'll say, creating jobs and so on. But when you take Donegal County Council over the last few years has removed about 500 jobs, and the moratorium that's in existence is a disgrace for counties like Donegal. And very ministers and everything else are talking about jobs and talking about employment and so on. That doesn't happen when their policy is totally against it, and if policy is that way, there'll be no hope whatsoever.
Do you see the independents forming a voting bloc in the new council?
Shall I say to you, if you look at the entire council, if I had my way, there'd be a block of the entire council, seeking what Donegal should have gotten, didn't get over the years. So I have no doubt in my mind, I'm not hung up on, we'll say, independence dictating to the rest or anything else. And I listen to some people who maybe feels you can do X, Y, or Z, but when you get 37 people together with different views representing different areas, and the diversity in Donegal, if you like, when we talk about being in the periphery of Europe, the diversity from Donegal southwest to, say, Donegal northeast, that's dramatic. And if I have another thing to say to you, when we were under Britain, actually, and I'm not proposing that we go under Britain, they laid railway lines from Burton Port to Mountain Head.
Yes.
And do you know now all the rest of them can do since they took control?
But even the Lost Willies,
all they can do since is talk about rail and talk about connection and so on, but nothing's happening.
Yes.
So I have grave concerns like the role I have, what I would like to achieve and what I can achieve are two different things. But the one thing certain sure, we need to look after our vulnerable, we need to look after our elderly, and even we only are a local authority with no such power. There are many systems within there are agencies within the system whereby HSE and others can provide a great deal of support and seek the help from government that's necessary to give that support as well.
Ian, again, congratulations.
No, is that all right?
Ian, that's excellent. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you one thing certain sure, McGarry's not of the nature. There's no foolish notions.
No, that's excellent.
And it's like going to a football field playing against a senior team and so on. McGarry knows what it's about. And I'll play in the team no matter how I play, but I'll tell you one thing, I'll have one thing in mind, the people out there.
The electorate.
Oh, the electorate, for Christ's sake. Sure, you wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. And sure, they fund everything. Sure, they're funding everything. You see, we talk about spending money. Who funds the money but the people? And as soon as you sit down and talk, you don't pay this and you don't pay that. Somebody's going to pay. You can't feed the whales unless somebody brings in the money.
That's true.
And you know the other thing I'll tell the two of you too? You can talk nonsense in your lifetime and it'll never become reality. I read it years ago. The difference between the two, the difference between nonsense and reality is amazing. And you can talk nonsense in your lifetime, but by God you can't. That'll not become reality. You're not videoing that, are you? You can't say these things every day, and maybe the day will come I'll not be able to say them. But the one thing certain sure, there are two things for me. You can't relive yesterday to start with, and you can't deal with tomorrow till it comes. And the problems that you have. So you're worrying away about 2 days that you don't have to worry about.
That's good. I just think I said to Johnny, but he doesn't worry.
Yeah. Well, listen, Ian, hey, congratulations.
Thanks, indeed, Johnny.
You're a wonderful man, boy. Fair play to you.
You stay fit, Ian, as well.
I do stay fit. And you know the other thing I don't overeat.
Right. So.
And you see people in at functions and all the rest, they get second helpers and all the rest. If you see them all sitting up on a plate in front of you between dessert and tea and all the rest of it, you'd think to yourself, you'd think. Exactly.
Right.
I have to get on to Danny Coleman about that, Ian.
I asked you, Danny.
You're not going to win the same again. You have to take all that advice.
McGarvey plus 96, bring him to 1744. As the votes have Ian McGarvey exceed the quota? I deem him to be elected.
Jiggle there now.
There's a pretty hammer as heavy as McBurdy. The one see if they lift it.
I'm now proceeding to distribute James Patton surplus of 40 votes as it exceeds the difference between the two lowest candidates. Thank you.
Okay, Ian McGarvey, we're going to have a quick word with you for Highland if you don't mind.
Oh, I got one again, number one.
He's just been congratulated by he's congratulated by his work in the ring, I think they still call it. Mayor Ian McGarvey.
Greg, how are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
Were you running for election, were you?
I'm always running anyway. We're live, Ian, by the way, just in case we digress into one of our usual conversations. Let me ask you, a more relaxing affair this time round, yeah?
Greg, it certainly was, and I attribute that to, we'll say, the people out there that voted for me and the workers that have been with me as well, all the way. Even like a Colin there and so on, who drove me every day and all that stuff. But I have to say one thing, Greg. Being relaxed and all the rest, it's important. I want to be there. I want to do what I can for this county and for its people. And particularly for the vulnerable and the elderly and so on. It's an ambition of mine to do my best for everybody.
And you've another 5 years to achieve that. It's been a big year for you. There's been big changes, but you've got still an awful lot you want to achieve, and you've got that mandate to do that now.
Greg, the one thing I want to see is bringing people together, because what has happened in my lifetime, and that is this: trust has been replaced with suspicion, and that's a sad story for me, because all of us are on this planet together, and if you look, we have been stuffed full of education, and yet and all we haven't learned to coexist. And if I refer to, we'll say, the entire country, particularly in the northern sector there, it's so sad for me when you see 3,000 plus lose their lives, just because of behaviour, maybe of politicians and churches and so on. So I would have a great deal of sympathy for what is going on. And the other thing, the present government has not yet realised what they're doing to our people. And I have to say one thing, the elderly people and the elderly population who are on benefit or who has medical cards and so on, are in a situation that's nearly as bad as a break-in. And that letter can arrive any day. It's so stressful and so upsetting for them. And the insecurity before it arrives is even worse. So I have a lot, even in local government.
The council has to work together. One person can't achieve what you're talking about. The council has to work together to try and improve the situations that you've been outlining there.
Well, you've watched me on the council already. And if I have one thing, as you know, I expressed already, bring them all into one party. But I'm reading a book at the president that states quite clearly, if you join a political party or become part of a political party, you need to learn to leave your brains at home. And I don't want to leave mine at home.
Well, this is a segue. I'm not saying it's connected, but
you know all about it.
There's talk of this. There's talk of this independence grouping, if you like, a technical group. Is Ian McGarvey too independent to join some sort of a technical group?
Greg, we need to all realise, we watched politics being played in the council chambers, and I watched it for the last 12 months, and you know many of the things that are said, like, it's ridiculous. Because if you have a government in place and an opposition outside, here we're playing that kind of attitude out in the chamber. Let's stop the nonsense. Let's go looking for what Donegal should have got and didn't get once and for all. And let's all of us, it's like getting onto a boat and you're rowing one way and I'm rowing the other way. We're going anywhere.
Oh, we're having a good time.
We need to be looking out the water.
Mayor Ian McGarvey, congratulations.
Well said. Don't let him go out. Some of you tell him some of the things. Jesus Christ, stay you there as well too. God bless you. That's you. I look forward to you as well. You know that too. I mean,
stay on the pen this time of year.
I'll tell you, I'll be coming on the pen before I'm done. Well done.
Why always need to stay down there?
No bother. Are you all in there as well? Marina, come on too, Marina.
Hoist the arms up there,
boys.
Oh!
There we go.
The oldest man in the country.
Jimmy, coming into this election, you were going from a UDC seat, but you've went on to win a county council seat. Your feelings on that?
Oh, well, I'm delighted, Paddy. It looks like I'm going to get the county council seat. I'm just delighted, and I'm absolutely over the moon for the people around me because I have a wonderful team. I have a small team of friends and family, and they've just done fantastic work. And we edged this vote out from night after night after night on the doorsteps. We didn't have a massive campaign of money or anything to get behind us, but we knocked on doors for this vote, and I owe a huge debt to the people that you see standing around here and, that have brought this home to me. Frank O'Donnell's coming in there, has been one of the main men for me. John Haggerty, Eddie McGeeva, those guys have worked wonders, as well as my family. They've been great to me.
The Letterkenny candidates helped you going out. You seem to draw from all over.
Yeah, I was lucky from the start in a sense that behind me all the time there was a lot of Letterkenny candidates, and the Letterkenny votes seemed to stay very, very, steadily in Letterkenny, and stayed among the Letterkenny candidates, and that worked perfectly for me, I think, and the Pasco's just gone now, and I believe I've got in the region of 240 votes from that, and that puts me up into 6th place, which is amazing, So.
What challenges do you see ahead for the council?
There's so much, from a Letterkenny point of view, I suppose, and I'll be representing Letterkenny Milford, but from a Letterkenny point of view, I suppose there's a lot of challenges there now that the town council's gone, and we need to try and maintain the same sort of resources that we had previously for the town, and I think the candidates elected from the town are going to have to work hard to ensure that happens in the bigger county mix, and there's loads and loads of things. There's plenty of challenges in the area where I live in Glencar and that, and there'll be plenty to keep me busy. And I'm not making any big promises here or anything like that. The only thing I'll say is I'll work very hard for anybody that knocks on my door or rings my phone, and I'll do my best for them.
Thank you very much, John.
As
the votes of Jimmy Kavanagh exceed the quota, I deem him to be elected. That exceeds the difference between the two lowest candidates and could elect a continuing candidate. Thank you.
Michael is coming into the late hours here now, but it looks like you're safe. You've got through.
Well, that's what we're hoping, and it's been a long day, a long couple of days, and I suppose to be fair about it, since we started, since the boxes started to open, we've been transferring not spectacularly, but nice and steady. We've been picking up all the way along the line, and I'm expecting a good transfer here now from Charlie McLafferty, and hopefully that'll leave me in a situation that should be reasonably safe, but that's what we think.
You've proven the old fact that incumbent councillors are hard to move. What challenges do you see ahead?
We have lots of challenges ahead. The budget that we have in the county council is not what we'd like it to be. It's well down from where it was before. So I'd be hoping that as the years of this council, incoming council, moves on, that we'll have more money to spend, because there's lots of projects out there, and all the rural areas. I think they need investment in them again, and there are loads of challenges for this council as we move ahead.
Thank you very much,
all right.
Michael.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you. Good man. Mick, it's been a long day here. You've gained your last seat, the last seat here going. Your feelings?
Very proud, exhausted, overjoyed. I think when we look around the Sinn Féin's result in Donegal in this election, we went in with 4 councillors and we've come out with 9. And I think that was a fair reflection of everything that we were hearing on the doorsteps. There's such an anger and a sense of betrayal out there amongst our people. So many people in the last general election voted for hope and voted for change, and they genuinely believed that Fine Gael and Labour were going to deliver this change and this hope and a move away from the austerity that Fianna Fáil had imposed on us. But to say the sense of betrayal out there is very much justified. And I think there's a clear message, not just in Donegal, going out across the country to the government. Change your policies before it's too late. Our people can't take any more pain. They genuinely can't. And we're not just saying that to be populist. It is so obvious, so evident out there. There are communities that are struggling, absolutely struggling, and there is no end in sight. So this government needs to make a drastic change, and if Fine Gael won't do it, then Labour, who were supposed to be representatives of ordinary people, they need to make an incredible challenge in relation to their dealings with Fine Gael, because they are equally responsible for what's happening to our people.
What challenges do you see ahead going in for the budget, the likes of the budget issue and the new county council?
Well, we were very clear in the budget negotiations last year. We were very clear about that we were willing to put ourselves out of work in order to ensure that a fair budget would be delivered for the people of Donegal. The budget that was adopted last year was not a fair budget. It's not sufficient to provide for the services that are required by the people of our county. And we will do the same this year. If the budget coming down the tracks is not sufficient, all Sinn Féin councillors will reject that budget. So that's a message we are sending to national government. There are 9 of us now on the council, and there is a potential that we could cooperate with independents, and that the budget in the next election, in the next term, may be rejected. So, as I say, we'll be no different to what we were. Our position will be no different to what it was in this year's budget.
Should be moving forward with the new members of the party, keeping the same.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, we're a party. We're called Sinn Féin. We're not May Féin. Whatever we do, we'll do on behalf of those who elected us, and the majority of people who elected us are those being most squeezed under this under the austerity policies of this government.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a million. All right.
Jerry, coming in here to this election, you've represented Sinn Féin for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
You've retained your seat from the old UDC area. What challenges do you see ahead now?
Well, obviously now I'm going to be representing a bigger area. Primarily it'll be Letterkenny Town, but I have other responsibilities now with the whole electoral area. And I will be going to Lifford to represent all the people of the constituency. But my main focus will be on Letterkenny, ensuring that the services that we have are maintained, and ensuring that future investment and development is not hindered. So that is what I'll be doing.
Do you see problems ahead ratifying the budget?
No, I don't see a problem. If the budget is for the best for the people, then we in Sinn Féin, the elected representatives, will have no problem in supporting it. It's only when the budget is wrong and it's unfair that we have went against the budget and not voted in favour of it. But if there is a fair budget there, if it's about equality, equity, and it's for the good of the people, then we'll have no problem in supporting a budget that is fair.
Are you happy with your vote here today?
I'm really pleased with the vote that I got in Letterkenny, where I've primarily done all of my canvassing. It has been magnificent. I'd really like to thank the people of Letterkenny for giving me such a large vote. I mean, over 1,000 number ones out of Letterkenny, and it's phenomenal. It's for someone who's come from the town council, and I think that people are recognising the hard work that I've been involved in, and I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking the people of Letterkenny for once again putting their trust in me, and I promise that, and if the only promise I made on the doorsteps is that I'll work hard on their behalf in Lifford.
Congratulations again, Jay.
Thank you very much, Paddy.
2011 we were standing here after you went out of the general election with a vote big enough to capture a seat in Donegal County Council. You've achieved that now. What challenges are ahead for you?
I suppose trying to sort out Donegal County Council, because it's been a bit of a shambles for years, and especially in the last year, that budget debacle earlier on this year where we had Sinn Féin and Fianna Fáil and basically an election stunt claiming that they weren't going to support the budget, which was already presented by the county manager and saying, well, if we don't support this budget, the council will be dissolved and we'll lose our seats. In reality, that could never have happened under the Local Government Act. It was never legally possible to happen. And we also then had the Labour Party in Fine Gael who were trying to push through the budget, and not one of them had the wherewithal to say, stop the messing, boys, this isn't actually going to happen. So it's that type of stuff where the public out there are sick watching what's going on, this gamesmanship, and a lot of the time it doesn't bear any relation to reality. It's just...
So you're looking to bring in no-nonsense politics?
That's really it. I've been listening today, other independents coming out and saying, we'll form a pact of a grouping of independents. Well, again, I don't know where they're coming from, because if you run as an independent and say you're going to be a strong independent,
it's just party politics by a different name.
It's basically gather up a gang and be like a party. Let's be if you're an independent, you stand your own. You shouldn't need other people. And this thing of chatting about we need to be a grouping or we need to have pacts, well, that's a load of nonsense. Men should be able to vote what's right, and you should be able to look around a room and know that if what you're proposing is right, there'll be enough there to support it, and if it's wrong, it's wrong. But you shouldn't need this idea of we'll form a grouping of strength. I, as far as I'm concerned, I'm an independent. That's what I am, and whatever's there to be done or to be decided upon, I'll make my decision each time on its own merits, rather than being part of some grouping at any point in time, You
had a good response in the doors?
Aye, very good response. I was only in this for 3 weeks, and I think I'm in half the time of any other candidate, and some of the candidates like John O'Donnell's in this for 4 months, so big difference between 3 weeks and 4 months. And the main reason I went in was that, and it has proved to be the case, was that Letterkenny was going to end up to be, as a town, very poorly represented. At the minute it looks possible we could have 4 Letterkenny here, but if I hadn't entered, there was only going to be 3 from Letterkenny, and there wouldn't have been a Letterkenny-based independent elected to Donegal County Council, which, considering the way the independent vote has been spread out, there's been a big independent vote in Letterkenny, and it would have really been a disaster if that hadn't happened. So I'm obviously delighted for that. That was the objective, that was the aim. It was 3 weeks, it was a short time frame, but that's what it was about,
Your vote centred mostly in the Ballyrain boxes. You picked up all over the town, but you picked up numbers seemingly everywhere.
I topped the poll in Ballyrain. There was word, I'm not sure, I was close to topping the poll somewhere else in Letterkenny, but we only had 3 weeks and we never actually left Letterkenny. We did do one afternoon outside of Letterkenny, but that was all. We actually only canvassed for 2 weeks and 3 days, 17 days in total. So you can imagine getting around Letterkenny. As I say, some other candidates had 4 months to get around everywhere, and that's what they did. And obviously what we did in 3 weeks, I think when after this people will look back and compare 3 weeks against the time that other people put in, and who people can assess who did well in this election then,
Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Good man.
Thanks a million. Thanks very much.
No candidate reached the quota on this count, and as there's one continuing candidate more than the number of seats left to be filled, and the distribution of available surpluses cannot bring the lowest candidate level with or above the second lowest candidate, I deem the following candidates to be elected without reaching the quota: McBride Michael, Shields Desi, McMonigal Jerry, and Quinn Mick.
No show without points.
Oh, great stuff.
This man,
Here we go. Big cheer, guys. No.
Up now, anyway. Some cameras.
Returning officer, to yourself and your staff, I have to congratulate you for the great job you've done here today. A lot of people thought it was very slow, but I know by the way Ewan works that he does everything, he does it right, and it doesn't have to be done a second time. I'd like to thank you for that, Ewan, and to the staff who spent long hours here today and long hours here yesterday. I'd like to thank you all very much. To all my running mates, I have to say congratulations for a good, clean, tough battle. And as everybody knows here, it was a tough battle. I would like to commiserate with the people that didn't get elected, and especially with Councillor Noel McBride, our sitting councillor who lost his seat. And I would like to congratulate the other 9 county councillors, and I look forward to working with you over the next 5 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I suppose I just want to be associated with what's been said already. First of all, I just want to take this opportunity to thank all the staff here who carried out and conducted the count here today. You've done great work. It's now 5:15 in the morning. Most of you are here since 8 o'clock. So I would ask everyone to give the staff who conducted this count a round of applause, because they've put in long and hard hours. Elections are difficult, and I admire anyone who actually puts their name before the people. This has been a difficult election, and there's winners and there's losers. To the people who lost out today, and Liam has already mentioned Councillor Noel McBride, who I have served with in Donegal County Council for the past 10 years. I want to commiserate with Noel and his family and his band of supporters, because this is a very difficult time for them. And politics is difficult. But to all the other candidates as well, who were so close here this evening, and Donald Collins there too, who has been around before, they deserve great credit, because without them it wouldn't be possible. And I think them candidates deserve a round of applause, because it's very courageous to go before the people. I also want to thank and pay tribute to the media. Because here in Donegal, sometimes we're critical of many things, but I think we have a great media. At 5:15 in the morning, we're still here. But between Highland Radio, Donegal Daily, the Connell Tribune, Donegal News, Donegal Democrat, the media has served Donegal well and has got the message out to the wider electorate. And I would ask you to give a round of applause to the media for the message that they got out to all the people this evening. It's now very late into the night. I want to be associated with the thanks to people like the Gardaí who were here throughout the whole count as well. They deserve great credit. But I think it's well into the morning. For my part, I just want to say sincerely to my own team who's been loyal to me throughout this campaign, this was probably the hardest election that I've ever fought. I suppose now, having served 15 years as a local councillor, it's hard to believe, because politics is at a difficult juncture, but I find myself on this platform tonight now as probably the longest serving elected member, and it's hard to believe it, nearly 42 years of age. So anybody who goes before the people deserve a lot of credit. This was a difficult election campaign, but I want to congratulate all the people who was elected here this evening. We have some great people who was elected, but if I think back to 5 years ago from my part, I had people like young James Pat McDade and all associated with him on my team. I had John O'Donnell and all his family on my team. And to go out and fight this election and to see that we got the vote that we did on this occasion, I'm absolutely delighted. But I want to congratulate people like James Pat McDade and indeed John O'Donnell and his team for the success they've had here today. And you know, there's a humane side to politics as well. Because I remember 15 years ago standing in the community centre in Letterkenny when Councillor Anne O'Donnell at that time lost her seat. It was difficult for that family at that time. So you can imagine that they have been carrying that for some time. So I just want to say personally from my family who has been associated with the late Eddie O'Donnell going back over the years, that the O'Donnells can hold their head high tonight, and I want to say personally there's a satisfaction for me that they've won that seat back again. And for James Pat McDade here, a young man who came into the election very, very late, but fought a very good campaign. He brought new energy to this election, he brought a new team, and politics is all about change, and when none of us should ever be afraid of change. I think this has been a great election, so I just want to say to everyone who's been elected here this evening, well done and congratulations. And I'll conclude by saying this. I said it earlier on this evening, maybe I was a wee bit emotional, but I make no apologies for it. This was a difficult election for me because the greatest person that I've had in my political career over the years has been my own father, and during this election he spent the time in hospital. He's still in hospital, but he has played a huge role behind the scenes, and I'm dedicating my victory to him, and I have no doubt that he'll be well and back out on his feet again. But this was a difficult election not having him there, but I just want to say here tonight that it's dedicated to him, and I want to thank everybody for their support. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, returning officer and all the staff, I know it's late and I'm not going to keep you too long. I'd like to thank us all very much for all your support throughout the campaign. I'd like to thank the ARA staff, all the council staff, and the Gardaí for running a very smooth election day, and it was all very overwhelming, so it was over the last few days. I just like to start off with a few thank yous, like a special thank yous to my fellow candidates, Fianna Fáil candidates, Kieran and Liam and John Watson, who have been very supportive to me through the campaign, and the Fianna Fáil party. I'd like to thank my family, who's been very good to me the whole way through and has been massive support to me. My girlfriend Teresa and her family have been very good to me. I'll never forget it. I wouldn't have done it without them. They were with me the whole way, so they were. I can't go through this speech without mentioning my grandfather, Barney Pat, who'd be very proud here today. Another man. Another man too I want to mention is Eddie Tinney. A great supporter of mine, so he was for the start of the campaign. He took on well then, but thank God Eddie's on the way to recovery now, and I wish him a speedy recovery and hope he's back in action soon. What else? Just finally, all my canvassers, when they went round the doors, they says, give this young fella a chance. Now they've given me that chance, and it's up to me now to take this chance. And I'm going to do my level best to deliver for all the people who've voted me. And even the people that hasn't voted me, I've got a lot of cross-party support, and I've appreciated very much. A lot of personal voting, and I'll never forget it, and just like to thank us all very much, and thanks again.
Again, Ursula, as Michael O'Mara, to ahas morum a Vedshaw, and I'll get special to Shahanacht. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow candidates and candidates who lost out tonight. It's a pleasure for me to be here among a group that has been elected by you, the people. because standing for election isn't easy, and that I want to compliment all of the people who were unsuccessful tonight, and they deserve a round of applause, because it's not easy going out there first and foremost standing up. The other thing I want to say as well, to the union and the staff for how they handled the count here today and the long hours they spent deciding who would get elected and being sure that it was correct as well. The other thing I want to thank the media of every grouping who turned up here today and stayed to this hour of the morning. But if I have one thing to say, elections like this is not just about electing people like ourselves, because once elected, we have an obligation to represent you, the people of this county, to the best of our ability. And from the young to people like my age, you can understand the difference it is to be able to stand here and to express a wish that we would represent our county to the best of our ability. Another thing I would like to say as well, when we have now 37 as opposed to 29, it is an opportunity for all of us, irrespective of what persuasion we belong to work together to serve the people of this county to the best of our ability. And there is no need for animosity within the chamber, as may have existed over the past year or so. And I would like to think, as one of the younger people, that we would ensure that it won't happen this time. But that we will work together to ensure where possible that we will get for Donegal and its people things maybe the county should have got years ago and didn't get. And it's an opportunity, and it's a challenge as well. And I would be delighted to be part of the team that will perform, if you like, to the best of our ability, do the business, get our meetings over, but make sure of one thing certain sure, that we look for the needs of our people. I don't need to list them because I'm aware of them being there for the last 10 years, and indeed long before. And I only would like to think that I would serve you, the people that supported and elected me, and I want to thank each and everybody who worked for me, who voted for me, or who treated us as well and extended the courtesy they extended when we approached and canvassed them. So to all of you this evening, without exception, may I say thank you for listening to me, and may I wish all of our colleagues well who have been elected here, and I have no doubt I want to serve on that team. Thank you very much.
I have just a couple of words to say. I just want to thank Ewan and Brian and all the staff for all the hard work and the courtesy that you've shown us this last couple of days. And I would like to thank also all my canvassers and my team who helped me to get me elected. And most importantly, I'd like to thank all the voters who gave me their number one or preference vote. I would like to congratulate all the successful candidates and commiserate with those who didn't make it this time. And as all our councillors alluded to, it's not an easy job to put your name forward on a ballot paper and go in front of people. So I'd like to congratulate them for being part of this system and the political system that we have. So just to say thanks all again, and EOI.
I would just like to thank the returning officer and thank the staff for doing the wonderful job that they did, and which was a very long count, and they carried it out with such professionalism and courtesy. And I'm just absolutely thrilled to have been elected. I've had the pleasure of being in Letterkenny Town Council for the last 5 years, and I'm looking forward so much now to the challenge ahead over the next 5 years, representing the town and the wider area at county level. I'd like to congratulate everyone who was elected here tonight, and I would like to commiserate with those who weren't. In particular, Councillor Noel McBride is a friend and colleague, and it was heartbreaking to see him go out, but that's politics. Some days the balls roll for you and some days they don't. And Donald Cullen as well, who ran it so close. I would just like to thank a wonderful family, my wife Roisin, my daughters Michelle and Leah, and all my family on Roisin's side and on my own side, and a small group of friends and party members who put so much into this effort over the last 6-7 weeks. We did it basically on a shoestring, and we worked damned hard. We worked and we depended on knocking on doors and dragging the vote out. That's what we did, and it took a while, but we got there with some style in the end. I think as political machines go, mine might be more of a quad than a Rolls Royce, but it knows how to get there in the end. So again, just thanks to everyone. I'm going to be brief here because my daughter has a job interview in a couple of hours' time, so I'd like to see her get some sleep. So thank you all again.
Tesha, hai valli henni quicker margin. So near musical Lord Maran and art came a couple of dini. We has a couple of dini reduce and foreign at a government shaw for hun and call the country. Run vi lay in the father of like a runch of there over. I'm not going to speak very long here tonight because it's nearly 5:30. But I just want a few thank yous to say. Firstly, I want to thank all who took part in this election, all candidates. You're all winners, whether you took a seat or not, because it displays a tremendous amount of courage to put yourself before the public. I want to thank the staff here. They've had a long couple of days, and I know it's been quite pressurised. I want to thank all those who voted for us, and I really appreciate whatever place we were put on the ballot paper. We're really grateful. The women and men who did such tremendous work over the last number of months, going out to the doorstep, putting up posters, all the hard work you did, I genuinely appreciate it. My family, Eileen, Aoife, Niamh and Cian, without your continued support, moral and otherwise, I could not have put my name forward for election and I would not have been successful. So I really owe you a huge debt of gratitude. And again, as I said, and I'm going to finish off by pledging that I and Jerry McMonigal, my party colleague, will work as hard as we possibly can to deliver whatever we can for everybody, regardless of whether you voted for us or not. We understand that we are in a position of trust to represent the interests and the needs of our communities, and we pledge ourselves to do that. And if we're back here in 5 years' time, you can judge whether we have done what we said we would do. So,
good morning, everybody. I would just like to congratulate Ewan and his staff on the fantastic job that they've done here today. I think the quality of their work is reflected, that we didn't have any queries, any recounts, and I know it's a slow job and you've made a fantastic effort and made a great job of it there today, so congratulations to you all. I would just like to, at this point in time, congratulate the candidates that got elected and commiserate with those who didn't, and that goes for right round the county. I suppose from my own point of view, 5 years ago, it looked like my political career may have been coming to an end. And I got a lucky break. I was co-opted onto the Donegal County Council by Jamie Hart. And a night like tonight, my thoughts are with Jimmy and his family. It's a very difficult time for them, and I wish him the best in the future. I'd also like to thank all my election campaign team, particularly Rachel and Molly and Megan, my own brothers and sister Felice, and Felice's husband Paul, and everybody that canvassed and worked for me in any way during the election. What really made me appreciate the work that was being done out there was when I saw so many young people put their hand up looking to come on my campaign, and they were out there and tramped the doors for me night after night. And when you got that blend of having the youth out on your campaign trail with a lot of experienced people that were there to advise me and keep me in the right direction, I think it helped me achieve the success that we've had here this evening. So I'll just finish up. I would like to thank everybody that voted for me, and I look forward to serving you and everybody in the electoral area over the next 5 years in Donegal County Council. Thank you all very much.